After more than 40 years of crime fighting, Spider-Man has become a household name. Comic book artists such as Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson gain notoriety from their work on the Spider-Man comics. The friendly neighborhood web-slinger spawns numerous comics and 2 blockbuster films.
Oh, you didn't have to be a genius to realize how successful Spider-Man was. Well, the book sold like there was no tomorrow.
Soon after the turn of the new century, Marvel launches Ultimate Spider-Man, a modern retelling of the classic hero.
With the Ultimate books, we're able to just start over from scratch. It's about our world and our times, but still about the classic magic of a Marvel comic.
It was exciting to take the Ultimate approach to the character, where he's younger and he's dealing with kind of different things.
Peter Parker in the Ultimate series is a web designer, not a photographer. He deals with a lot of current day issues. When the comic was first conceived by Stan Lee in the early 60s, there are a lot of issues that might not resonate as well with teens today. So we've actually taken the storylines from the Ultimate comic book series, which is really updated to modern day.
Ultimate Spider-Man becomes a smash hit for Marvel. And it soon catches the attention of Activision.
We looked at what was going on in comic books today, and really Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic book from Marvel, was the #1 seller in Spider-Man comic books right now. So that's what we really wanted to go after.
Activision enlists Treyarch to create a game based on the new series.
Treyarch and Activision started working together in the late 1990s on a couple Tony Hawk games for the Dreamcast. They also did a Spider-Man game for a Dreamcast. Treyarch was the perfect fit.
Activision approached us in April of 2003 with the idea that they wanted to do a Spider-Man game based more on the classic Spider-Man comic book license versus the movie games. We have been the company that's done both of the Spider-Man movie games.
Development of Ultimate Spider-Man begins in June 2003. To ensure that they do justice to the series, Treyarch turns to the people behind the comics for guidance.
One of the first things that we wanted to do was to go after some of the talent that was involved in the creation of the comic book for Marvel. So we went after Brian Michael Bendis. We wanted to bring him in very early on and have him help to craft our story.
Bendis is great. He is so synonymous with Marvel now. He writes so much of our stuff, from Spider-Man to Pulse to Daredevil. Brian is the epitome of Marvel.
They presented us with an idea for the game that was so loyal to the comic book. It was so flattering.
We also wanted to involve Mark Bagley, who is the sole illustrator of all the Ultimate Spider-Man books. So we brought him in, had him do all of our character concepts.
Mark Bagley is a wildly underestimated artist.
The nice thing about Bagley's look is it's kind of a more clean, stylized look. That's what makes it so really easy transition for the guys at Treyarch to make his look work in 3D.
To attain a look that stays true to the comic books, Treyarch implements an entirely new graphic style.
The look was the first thing that jumped out at us. The Ultimate Spider-Man, it doesn't look like any of the previous Spider-Mans. It doesn't look like the movie. It's its own entity, and we really wanted to capture that because it was very exciting and it was very new.
Ultimate Spider-Man's really sort of like Spider-Boy. He's still in high school, and so he's got sort of this egg-shaped head and a thinner neck and these elongated features.
So we spent a lot of time examining all of the books at that time, trying different techniques to try and capture that look. We didn't want a Saturday morning cartoon look. We wanted something that was what modern comics are today.
So we wrote a new shader from the ground up. It's a combination of texture maps and our own shader technology. We use a very high polygon model to achieve the inking style. These characters are up to 7,000 polygons. He's closer to 9,000 polygons.
3D comic inking technology is something we created here in-house. What it does is it creates this comic feel for the game. When you see the characters, they're just more three-dimensional. There's more depth, there's more shadows. You're seeing these characters as if you're really standing right in front of them.
A new approach to graphics isn't all Treyarch does to capture the feel of the comics.
In looking at comics to see what we wanted to try to bring, we examined them, and some of the obvious things that came out were panels and storytelling.
You have to have panels. That's what the comic book medium is about.
The the motion graphics panels really drive not only our story, but they drive gameplay as well. So as Spider-Man, for instance, is swinging down the street and we've got a person trapped under a burning car, you'll have a panel that will fly up on the screen and then seamlessly integrate itself right back into gameplay.
She's getting crushed. I don't have much time.
Let the player know that there's a situation that they need to deal with.
So panels are popping up while you're playing. Kind of give the player hints and clues or close-ups on the villain's face when they're having kind of a long-distance conversation. It really frees you up and
really adds to the immersive quality of the overall gaming experience.
Now that the technical aspects of the game are nailed down, Treyarch must work on making Ultimate Spider-Man live up to its name. Treyarch is set on making Ultimate Spider-Man the biggest and most